we'll have him brought back out if they say that he can be brought back out, and then you can give your victim impact. I know that no one, at least I have yet to have someone come before me and say my intention was to get drunk and go out and hit somebody, but it happens. If you're going to be drinking at all, even if you think it's just going to be one drink, it's better just to have a designated driver, right? I do appreciate the fact that you entered a plea, that you accepted responsibility by pleading guilty, and that you have not wavered and try to blame something else for this. You know it's true, and I appreciate that.
This is one of those hearings that stays with you long after it's over. Today, we're watching Judge Boyd sentence a military veteran who made a devastating decision behind the wheel. The moment she announces an 18-year prison sentence, you can see the reality of those words hit him almost immediately. Sentencing hearings can already be emotional, but watching someone physically break down after hearing their fate completely changes the atmosphere in the courtroom. Within moments, what started as a routine sentencing proceeding turns into a medical emergency, and everyone in the room suddenly realizes how serious the situation has become. Cases like this are a powerful reminder that behind every courtroom case are real people, real families, and consequences that can change lives forever in a matter of seconds. What do you guys think? In a case involving such a devastating loss, is there ever a sentence that can truly feel like justice? Let's get into it.
State versus Marlon Daniels. Can I have parties announced for the record?
Megan Galloway for State.
And for the defense?
George Sharman on behalf of the defendant in these cases.
All right, and you're Mr. Daniels?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Daniels, the court, at the request of your attorney, had a PSI ordered. And Mr. Daniels, we're going to proceed with sentencing. And each of the cause numbers, you entered a plea of guilty, and the punishment is to be assessed at 18 years in the prison. Mr. Daniels, I've had a chance to learn more about your background from your attorney, your military service. And I will tell you, I know that no one, at least I have yet to have someone come before me and say my intention was to get drunk and go out and hit somebody. Nobody ever intends to drive intoxicated or get to that point, but it happens. And that's why I always try to stress to everybody, please, please, if you're going to be drinking at all, even if you think it's just going to be one drink, it's better just to have a designated driver, right? I do appreciate the fact that you entered a plea, that you accepted responsibility by pleading guilty, and that you have not wavered and try to blame something else for this. I do note that you said that you couldn't remember, but you know it's true. And I appreciate that. Sometimes people will say, well, I don't remember what happened, so I'm really not responsible. But you didn't do that. And the fact that you entered a plea, and in each of these cause numbers, you were looking at 20 years. And I always tell people, when people go to jury trial, even when I was a defense attorney or as a prosecutor, I sometimes would have to explain to families, you don't know what 12 people are going to do, right? When you go to jury trial, you don't know. 12 people could say, you know what? This person before me is a military veteran. This person before me hasn't been in trouble. Yes, they did this, but we're not going to give them 18 years. Who knows? A jury may decide to have given you 2 years or 3 or 4 or whatever. You just never know. So for you to accept responsibility, for you to take the 18 years, knowing that by taking these 18 years, there is no appeal because you waived your right to appeal, I think that says a lot, even though I know that the family is in a lot of pain, because when you lose someone and you lose someone this way, it's not expected.
This is where Judge Boyd raises something that many people don't fully consider until they're actually standing in court: the risk of putting your future entirely in the hands of jury. When someone is facing a potential 20-year sentence, deciding whether to accept a plea deal can become one of the most important decisions they'll ever make. Defendants may hope their background, character, or personal circumstances will influence how the court or jury views them. In this case, some jurors could have placed significant weight on his military service, while others might have focused almost entirely on the fact that someone lost their life. That's the uncertainty Judge Boyd is pointing out. A plea agreement might not deliver the result a defendant wants, but provide some certainty when the alternative could potentially lead to a much harsher outcome. She also recognizes that he took responsibility for what happened, and that can matter when a judge considers a sentence. But accepting responsibility doesn't erase the seriousness of the offense, and it certainly can undo the devastating loss experienced by the victim's family.
The court is recognizing that you accepted responsibility and you took close to the maximum sentence in each of the cause numbers. With that being said, and cause number 2024 CR 009218, the court will follow your plea bargain agreement as previously stated. When you entered your plea, the court is finding you guilty. The court will sentence you to 18 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. The court will give you credit for any time served, and legally, you're entitled to any time that you have served on this case. This will run concurrent with 2024 CR 009219. I'll request the therapeutic community. The therapeutic community doesn't increase the time that you're in custody. It's really designed to help you maintain your sobriety, address any type of mental health or substance abuse issues you may have, so that ultimately when you're released from prison and there's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon.
May I address the court on a matter?
Just one moment.
Yes.
And cause number 2024 CR 009219, the court is finding you guilty. The court will sentence you to 18 years, give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. This run concurrent with 2024 CR 009218. There is to be restitution of $60 to DPS for testing. And the court will recommend the therapeutic community. There's something you wish to say, counsel?
Yes, on the PSI, it said that he had the combat risen. He did not have combat treatment. So that was erroneous.
Okay.
Step number 2, it shows there were 2 prior misdemeanors. There was only 1. And if you look at it, it's the same date.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else?
That's all we have.
All right, Mr. Daniels. Deputy Laura, if you'll give him his trial court certification. All right. Counsel? Counsel.
Yes.
All right, your client has been removed from the courtroom. Did you review the trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal with him?
I did.
All right. On the record, the court informed the defendant that by entering the plea, he had waived his right to appeal, so he acknowledged that. I followed the plea bargain agreement. So because I followed his plea bargain agreement and because he's waived his right to appeal, he do not have the court's permission to appeal.
I went over that with him, Judge, so he understands.
All right, thank you. Is there anything else from either side?
Well, Judge, I don't know if Mr. Sherman wanted to bring this to your attention, but because the defendant is going to be in custody, I did see that he filed motions to remove the ignition and the locks. Your motions to...
Yes, she's already signed.
Oh, yes, I signed those, yes.
Objection to that.
All right, thank you.
And that we do have victim impact, but I'm...
All right, so who are the people here for victim impact?
That's the father,
Okay.
father and husband of the victims, and then the brother and sister.
Okay. All right, so everyone, just give us a moment. We're going to have medical check him out to see what's going on. And then if you will be patient, we'll have him brought back out if they say that he can be brought back out. And then you can give your victim impact.
Final moments of this hearing are incredibly difficult to watch. Seeing how quickly everything shifts is a reminder that one decision can completely change the lives of so many people. It's heartbreaking from every possible angle. One person lost their life, while another person's entire future was permanently altered because of a terrible decision behind the wheel. The defendant was a military veteran and a father, but the court still had to weigh those personal circumstances against the permanent consequences of the offense. Judge Boyd didn't appear to approach this from a place of anger. Instead, she focused on the law, the seriousness of the loss, and the responsibility the court has to protect the community going forward. A lot of people are surprised to learn that even someone without a long criminal history can face a substantial prison sentence in a fatal DUI case, because the consequences of losing a life cannot simply be undone. In cases like this, there really aren't any winners. There are only people whose lives have been permanently changed by one tragic decision. What do you guys think? Was 18 years an appropriate sentence here? Or do you believe another outcome would have been more just? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.